When he was still a child, Dae-gil saw a strange man arrive at the family's restaurant, claiming he was sent by the kid's uncle to bring them some money so they could live without worries. Dae-gil was very impressed by this man that gave him a tip for being a good boy, and Dae-gil took the chance to make up reasons why he should be tipped higher. The man respected the boy's intelligence and gave him extra cash while pointing out he would be a good hustler, and when Dae-gil showed interest in the word, the stranger taught him the tricks of the trade. Since then, Dae-gil has been gambling and winning thanks to cheating at every opportunity, starting with pogs during middle grade and moving into actual money in high school. Now in the present, an adult Dae-gil works as a delivery boy, but he still joins card games to keep on gambling. One day, he's invited to a game at Gwang-chul's place, and Dae-gil gets to meet the sister Mi-na, who is tired of seeing Gwang-chul waste money on an addiction. Dae-gil instantly falls in love with her and tries to ask her out, but Mi-na responds by screaming to make her brother think she's being attacked and getting him to beat up Dae-gil. On his way home, Dae-gil sees his grandfather sneak out and go to a gambling den where the old man loses and causes a scene by accusing everyone of cheating. The guy in charge, nicknamed Ghost, and his bodyguard take Grandpa to another room to beat him up for his behavior. Dae-gil comes to his rescue, and after knocking out the bodyguard by surprising him from behind, he goes against Ghost, who is armed with a knife. In the struggle, Dae-gil accidentally stabs Ghost, so he and Grandpa flee the place before they can be caught. At home, Dae-gil's mother gives him the bag of money the uncle sent years ago and she never touched, asking him to go away to the big city and lay low for a while. Dae-gil accepts this is the best idea, but before leaving, he stops by Mi-na's house to tell her he isn't good enough for her now, but he'll come back as a better, worthy man and marry her. When he makes it to the city, Dae-gil rents an old small apartment and contacts his old friend Charlie, who works in a renowned gambling den. Charlie's job is pretending to be another player to beat the real attendants through cheating, then take the money back to the boss Ko-jang, who pays him a commission. Thanks to Charlie, Dae-gil gets a job there as a skivvy, and he uses his charms and tricks to sell lots of refreshments and cigarettes to the clients, earning him extra tips. During his shifts, he also gets to meet the den's other employees like Seo and Madam Song, who like Charlie, pretend to be players to make everyone lose. There's also Ms. Wu, a beautiful widow customer who Dae-gil quickly gets a crush on. 5 months later, Ko-jang thinks Dae-gil has shown he's trustworthy and loyal enough to become a fake player like Charlie. Soon, Dae-gil is winning games and climbing up as the best player in the den, earning him Ko-jang's favoritism, which makes Charlie jealous. Now Dae-gil can afford good clothes and a luxury apartment, so when one night he finds Ms. Wu crying in the parking lot because she lost again, he invites her to his place to teach her how to play better. After a few hours of playing cards, Ms. Wu hits on Dae-gil, who at first tries to think of Mi-na but ends up giving in to Wu's advances. Since then, the two of them begin dating. Sometime later, Ko-jang chooses Ms. Wu as their next victim to be left bankrupt. The plan is to make her win for a while before striking and making her lose it all. Dae-gil warns Wu of this plan and asks her not to come back to the den, but Wu doesn't listen and shows up anyway. Using the tricks Dae-gil taught her, Ms. Wu outsmarts the others and wins anyway, causing the bankruptcy of the den. A few days later, without having heard from Wu again, Dae-gil needs a new place to make money. So Charlie invites him to a private game with a rich man called Jang, who comes with a big surprise. The fourth player is Mi-na, who seems to be this guy's lover. The game starts in Dae-gil's favor, and Charlie thinks they should stop while they can and leave with the money, but Dae-gil wants to keep going for bigger earnings. This proves to be a mistake when Mi-na distracts Dae-gil, and he ends up losing it all. It turns out Jang has been working for Ko-jang and Seo all along because they had found out Dae-gil had been dating Wu and thought he had helped her win, meaning they wanted revenge. A month after the game, Dae-gil still hasn't paid, so Jang sends his men after him to get his kidney as part of the payment. During the kidnapping, Dae-gil's hand gets broken. Jang takes the kidney plus Dae-gil's apartment and bank account, but it's still not enough to cover his whole debt. Eventually, Ko-jang is arrested by the police and his employees go into hiding, so Dae-gil must stay low as well. Without money to spend, Dae-gil survives by sleeping in cafes and taking leftovers from other tables. One day, Mi-na finds him and invites him to have dinner together, during which he explains the game with Jang had been a trap. Charlie had been working with Jang all along, and while Dae-gil was distracted by Mi-na, the two men exchanged cards. Dae-gil is furious to learn his best friend betrayed him and wants revenge, but Mina reminds him not to do anything stupid because he was supposed to marry her someday. Thanks to the money Mina gifted him, Dae-gil moves to a little town and begins gambling in smaller dens. One evening, he's caught cheating, but he's helped by another player called Mr. Go. They don't recognize each other because they're both older now, but this man is the same guy that brought the money to Dae-gil's family all those years ago. Dae-gil is impressed by the way Mr. Go could change Dae-gil's cards and cover his mistake while having a prosthetic hand, so he asks him to be his mentor. Mr. Go accepts, only because Dae-gil reminds him of a legendary player called Hands of God, who Dae-gil doesn't know is his uncle. Mr. Go teaches Dae-gil advanced gambling tricks and how to read people's body language. He even tells him that if one day he has to play naked, then he should just eat the extra card. The two of them become very good card partners and begin making elaborate cheating plans that allow them to start winning often again, moving from small dens to bigger ones. One evening, Dae-gil sees Charlie in the streets and follows him to demand an explanation. Charlie sold Dae-gil off because he had been jealous of him becoming the boss's favorite, yet he's also poor now because he had been tricked as well. It turns out that from the very beginning, Seo had been working with Madame Song and Ms. Wu to bring Ko Jang down, and now Dae-gil wonders if what he and Wu had was ever real. Charlie also has devastated news because of Dae-gil's encounter with Mina. She has been sold. Furious, Dae-gil goes to the den Mina was sold to and is shocked to find out it's managed by Ghost, who is still alive and working for Jang. If Dae-gil wants to rescue Mina, he'll have to win a game against her while only playing with only one hand, and whoever wins will have to stab the opponent's hand. Thanks to Mr. Go's teachings, Dae-gil easily wins the game by reading Mina's body language, but instead of stabbing her, he hurts his own hand, which never fully recovered from the time Jang's men broke it anyway. Dae-gil tries to leave with Mina, but Ghost stops them, explaining the money Dae-gil made with this game isn't enough to pay for her debt. Fortunately, Mr. Go shows up and pays the rest of the money. Once they make it back to Go's place and Mina falls asleep, Dae-gil wonders if someone can truly carry on a good life by only gambling. Mr. Go explains he only gambled because he was addicted, but once upon a time, there had been 4 legendary gamblers. One of them fell off a train under mysterious circumstances, the second lost his ear to the third, called Aggie, who is also the guy that cut Go's hand and is known to be evil. All gamblers have misfortune as their fate, which is why the 4th legendary gambler, Hands of God, left during a huge game he was about to win, not wanting to have a dark future too. If Dae-gil wants a good life with Mina, Go thinks he should quit as well. Sometime later, Dae-gil takes Mina out to dinner and learns what happened to her. Her brother Gwang-chul used to gamble with Ghost, and one night, when Mina went to pick him up, she got to meet Jang, who became obsessed with her. Jang made a plan to set up Gwang-hul with a gambling doctor that put him in Ghost's debt, causing Mina to show up to help her brother by working as a hustler. However, while she played, Jang's men would slip something in her coffee, then send her to spend the night with some of the clients, and now Mina considers herself a filthy woman. Gwang-chul lost it when he heard what happened to her and killed the doctor that tricked him, for which he was sent to jail. Dae-gil explains he doesn't care because he's a dirty man too, so he wants to spend his life with her, and the two of them finally kiss. Meanwhile, Jang is furious with Ghost for having sold Mina and orders him to get her back no matter what. Ghost sends his bodyguard after the trio and Dae-gil tries to beat him in a fight, but the guy is too strong. Seeing there's no other choice, Mr. Go tackles the bodyguard off a platform, killing them both. Before dying, Go asks Dae-gil to go away and not take revenge. Dae-gil doesn't listen and begins preparing a plan to get Jang back. Mina visits Gwang-chul in prison to get the names of 2 criminal friends that are experts at setups. With their help, they make Madame Song lose everything. Then Mina pretends to be a naive rich girl that Song can take advantage of. Mina pretends to lose at first, and once Song is tricked into a false sense of security, she wins it all back. Since Song is desperate now, Dae-gil pays her off to get them a game with Seo, who Mina defeats as well, before handing him to Ko Jang so he can have his revenge too. All this money allows Dae-gil and Mina to move into a nicer apartment and keep paying Gwang-chul's friends for their help. Next, Dae-gil gets in contact with Miss Wu again to use her to get Jang, offering her a commission too. Jang sees through Miss Wu's act though and doesn't accept her as his new player. In fact, he guesses Dae-gil must be using her. After Wu leaves, Jang worries he may be robbed by Dae-gil soon and moves all his money to an abandoned building nobody knows about. However, this had been the plan all along. While leaving, Wu had touched Jang and planted a tracker that showed the group the location of the money. To make revenge sweeter, they only steal half of it, then send the police to find the other half. Jang falls under an investigation for illegal gambling and bribing of officers, so he runs away and the government puts a reward on his head. Dae-gil meets with Wu to pay her, but when she sees him with Mi-na, she gets jealous and goes to find Jang to tell him everything. Dae-gil and Mi-na are getting ready to leave the country when they get a call from Jang, who has kidnapped Gwang-chul's friends and demands to get his money back in exchange for their lives. Dae-gil agrees to meet, and at the moment of the exchange, the thug that hands in the victims takes out a knife to stab Dae-gil, but he had already been expecting dirty play. After tasing the thug, Dae-gil lights the suitcase on fire and leaves with his friends. Jang rushes to put the fire out and discovers the suitcase had been full of fake money, so he and his men go after Dae-gil, which triggers a car chase through the city. Unfortunately, Mi-na never learned to drive properly and she ends up crashing the car. While Jang takes away the money, Dae-gil notices Mi-na has blood between her thighs and discovers she had been pregnant, only to lose the baby in the car crash. Mi-na ends up in the hospital, where she's visited by Gwang-chul, who finally was released from jail after Dae-gil paid off his bail back when they started making money again. Meanwhile, Jang pays Wu her part of the deal before meeting with some men that will smuggle him out of the country. However, these men are also paid by Wu and they beat up Jang. Wu wants to leave, thinking she has won, but these thugs are actually working for Ghost, who shows up, puts her to sleep and after ditching her on a pile of trash, he leaves with all the money. When Wu later returns home, she's shocked to find Jang there, who had also been thrown on a pile of trash instead of killed as she had asked. Ghost takes the money back to the real boss, the legendary Aggie, who has also lost a bunch of fingers. He quickly notices there's a tracker hidden inside the suitcase and expects they'll be found soon. As he predicts, Dae-gil shows up together with Gwang-chul, followed closely by Jang. An argument soon begins about whom the money belongs to and who should kill who, so Aggie proposes a solution, one last big game, where they bet all the money, but also their heads. Everyone accepts and Jang proceeds to sell Wu to get some money for the game, but she convinces him to take her to the game because she can help him distract Dae-gil thanks to their history together. Dae-gil gets his money from Ko Jang, who wants Dae-gil to succeed in life, and a recovered Mi-na tells Gwang-chul she'll be Dae-gil's partner because she doesn't want her brother to fall into addiction again. The day of the game comes and rules are established to avoid cheating. Everyone will play naked and use only one hand. Wu has also brought banned new sealed decks, so nobody can use marked cards. The game begins normally, but soon something weird begins happening and Dae-gil realizes the cards Wu has brought can be seen through if you know how to use your eyes. Aggie realizes this too and kicks Wu out of the game before changing decks. The game proceeds normally until Dae-gil is caught putting his hand near Mi-na's underwear. Aggie bets all his money that Dae-gil has winning cards and Jang bets it all on Mi-na having a card hidden in her underwear, however they're both wrong. Dae-gil had only pretended to hide a card to trick his opponents and get an easy win. Jang and Aggie don't take this well and send Ghost to stop Dae-gil and Mi-na from leaving with the money, but Gwang-chul came prepared and he shoots Ghost's hand off. Then, Jang turns off the lights to attack them by surprise, but Gwang-chul kills him, although he gets wounded in the struggle as well. Afterward, Mi-na offers a helping hand to Wu, who turns her down. Suddenly, Gwang-chul points his weapon at Dae-gil and Mi-na and takes the money from them before escaping away in their car. A few days later, the news shows that Gwang-chul drove through the city while tossing money at people through the window and he later was found dead in the mountains. At home, Mi-na asks Dae-gil what he did with the extra card during the game and confesses he ate it just like Go had taught him. Their chat is interrupted by the arrival of a letter from Gwang-chul, who confesses having only pretended to betray them to protect them. Now everyone thinks they don't have the money and will leave them alone. In the letter, he included a map of where he hid the money in order for his dear sister to retrieve it and start a new life with Dae-gil. After getting the money back, Dae-gil throws away his last card deck, deciding to do as hands of God and quit gambling to have a better life. Thanks for watching. If you're a champion, smash that subscribe button, like really break it.